Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today. I am Krystle Chats, and this is the Healthy Gossip Podcast. If you've been following me on the Krystle Chats podcast, this is actually going to be episode 23 for you, and one if you have no idea who I am. So that's a good point that I want to get into is why the heck you should even listen to me. So I'm going to talk about myself, what this podcast is all about. And I do want to let you guys know that I have Alex Conn, who is on the mic.
Producer, on-air producer.
Yes, he's the on-air producer. He is also a comedian, and I am a comedian, and this is going to be great. So, the healthy gossip. Basically, the Krystle Chats podcast was there wasn't really a whole lot of topic-wise, it was all over the place. I wanted this one to be more specific, and I want to talk about relationships, being single, dating, and a big important part of it is a healthy lifestyle, actually. And I know, like, healthy gossip is kind of like an oxymoron, but I feel that that's why therapy is so hot right now, because people want to get things off of their chest. You know, it needs to be said. Even if it's negative, I feel like people need to get it out so it doesn't just stay inside you and rot away, especially if it's something that you don't quite understand. I want to talk about it. So, yes, let's just get into my background. Let's do this. Let's do this. Who am I? I am a 32-year-old single actress comedian who lives in Los Angeles. That's the bio, which I think it's funny because I asked a girl last night how old she was, and her response was, "Fuck you." And which is crazy because there's this girl who I knew I met her the first year I moved to Los Angeles. We were in a scene study together. And until this day, 10 years later, I don't know how old she is. It's crazy because I'm pretty sure it's on her IMDb. I've just never really cared to go look. But I remember her saying specifically, "We don't tell our age in this industry," but I'm like, it's on my IMDb, bro. Like, I can't really hide that, and people are gonna find out. So, yeah, age. It's something I talk about a lot in my stand-up sets, and there's always one guy who comes up to me after. I feel like you'll want to say something about it.
No, no.
No, okay.
I feel like in this town it's how old you look. So it's
Yeah.
like you're like you could be 20, but if you look 40, you're gonna get cast as a 40. So it
Exactly.
doesn't matter how old you are. It matters how old you
Thank
look.
you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And it's so true. It's so true. Yeah, and
So a guy came up to you, or guys come up to you.
yeah, and they say like, "Are you really in your 30s?" And I'm like, why is that the one thing I want to lie about to be funnier?
You're trying to
And it's like,
add
no.
credibility to your.
Right, exactly. So no, that's not a lie. And that is so true. I also one fun fact about me is I just moved back to LA from Orange County. I was in a relationship, and I decided it would be a great idea, which it was, to go back to college. And I was in a community college, and some of these people would ask me what high school I went to, thinking I was like an 18-year-old, and it was my first year in college, and I'm like, I moved here from Texas. And I would never want to tell them how old I was. And I remember specifically being in a study lab, and this girl who was sitting next to me, and unfortunately, she didn't age really well, and she told this kid that she's 21, and his response was, "Oh my God, you're so old." And I was just like, ugh.
That's the like community college experience where you're like, it's the first time you're ever in a room with like multiple 35-year-olds, but you're all peers. Like you're 18. Everyone's a peer. So
Well, I was at Irvine Valley College, which I don't know if you know. Do you know anything about Irvine?
no, I don't.
Have you ever been there?
I mean, I've been to Irvine, yeah, but
It's literally Pleasantville on steroids.
Ooh.
It's crazy. These kids are they call it the Irvine bubble. Like, most of them haven't been corrupted yet. They're super virginal and pure and innocent. Right. That's Irvine. This really.
I mean, I'm
geeky-
going next week now. I feel like I'll fit in.
Irvine Improv.
Just Irvine. I'm just gonna
Okay.
go. I'm moving there now.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was definitely an experience. So school, I did that. At my age, yeah, and I guess that's. Oh, so I moved here, and I was mainly in scene study. I didn't really do too much comedy. I did a lot of comedy right before I moved here in Texas. Shout out to San Antonio. I feel like small town mics are so fun because it's generally they're at comedy clubs and they're packed because there's two really good mics to go to, and they're only a couple times a week, so it's almost like a show. It's great. Here, it's obviously
Everyone swings for everyone brings their A game.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You sure? And yeah. So now, oh, and then I took a class. That's actually what got me back into stand up and
Whose
shout out
class?
LA stand ups.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Joe. He's great. I don't really want to talk too much about comedy, but I do like classes. I'm always pro classes. I get so many DMs about, oh, how'd you get into comedy? And I always recommend to take a class. It's like so many people think that their stories are funny, but they don't know how to write it in a joke form, like, and they're too wordy, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to talk about comedy. That is not why we're here. But yeah, so I actually stopped doing comedy because of my last relationship, and that is definitely topical. Being with people who support your desire. I was dating a guy. I'm not gonna throw people under the bus. I'm gonna try my hardest to keep everything confidential. If you're dating me or I was dating you, but I'm definitely gonna talk about what happened between us. That's for sure. And of course, when he met me, he was like, "Oh, you do comedy? That's so cool. You're so brave, so brave." Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. Yes." Well, until we started dating seriously, and I went to a mic, and this was the first mic that I went to while I was dating this guy. What's the first thing that you say to somebody when you call them after, like, if I just finished a show, I call you, what do you say?
Hey, how was your show?
How was your show? How'd the set go? How was the crowd? Well, tell me about it. His response was, "Isn't it getting late?" Yeah, I tell that to people, and then they cringe, and it's like, yeah, that's not the person to be with if you want to do stand-up. I had another guy tell me that I'm going to be alone forever as long as I'm a comic because no guy wants his girl hanging out at bars and clubs 5 nights a week. And it's like, cool, well, it is what it is, bro. I made it this far, never been married, no kids. Like, I can handle it.
I think there are a lot of careers that are hard on relationships, and it's not easy to be in traveling sales, with a wife and kids either. So, yeah, part of the gig.
Right now, my day job is I work for Budman OC. A shout out. We actually also would like to run a marijuana podcast here, hopefully soon.
Perfect.
We can start that. Yeah, then I'll have 2 podcasts.
Budman? Where's that at?
Budman OC. It's in Orange County.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm by county right now. People are like, I always tell people that I might start dating, like, just imagine I'm an airline pilot.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a few days. Huh?
If you're not familiar with Los Angeles, Orange County is, when there's traffic involved, it's a whole nother city. It's down there.
At night, it's 100% it's a 55-minute drive. If you're, even getting like to basically West Hollywood, if you're leaving out on Newport Beach. But during the day, it can get up to about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. I mean, just getting from Santa Monica to West Hollywood on the wrong time of day, it takes you an hour. So it's like you can only imagine going
past the airport.
Exactly. So yeah, moving right along, comedy, people tell me those kinds of things, more about my relationship status is, the last guy that I dated also had some negative things to say about comedy. The final straw emotionally for me, there was many other things, but, he looks in my fridge and sees that I don't have any food. Mind you, I'm going to go like on a trip. I feel bad because people watch this, they know who this guy is, and it's like, I'm sorry, but don't say this. This is a lesson for you, buddy. He sees that, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm cool with like ramen right now if I have to do that, and like I need as much money as I can for my trip. It's like, yeah, but you're just gonna throw your body away or whatever. And he goes, maybe instead of going to that mic last night, you should have worked more hours. And I'm like, bro, see, healthy gossip. Like I need to say that you are wrong for saying that to me. Like that is just not cool. And I was on another guy's podcast, and a comic, and he said that too. He's like, that makes me so angry. And that's the kind of energy you need. Like, yeah, it's like, what the heck, man? I'm not out there just partying. Like I was at a mic and trying to work on my craft. That's what we do.
It's the unpaid internship of this game. It's the volunteer hours. It's where you have to be to get to the next level. So
we're investing. We pay.
Yes.
I talked about that yesterday. Like we're the ones.
Costs money to be there.
We're negative.
It's hard on your mental health as well to be around them all. But so you're out of this relationship. Mm-hmm. What's the next step? Where's Krystle Chats going?
So after that relationship, I decided it would be really cool to finally be in a space where I wasn't dating. I even said no dating apps, for 2019. And then, of course, I get back on the dating apps. And I say that, I say this on stage. I said I had to get back on the dating apps because I'm a bad writer and I need more content. And maybe not a bad writer, but just a lazy one. I work a lot. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about my job a little bit more. But, yeah, that's another thing. Like, when you have a full-time job and then you're trying to do something else to make it your full-time gig, it's definitely complicated. And I work with mainly girls, and it's an online company, so it's not like I'm really getting out there much. So I got back on Bumble. I know everyone's like, why Bumble? There's so many better ones out there. I've always had some decent luck on Bumble. Yeah, I've been going on some dates. No. I skipped ahead.
Swap to that guy for him. I'll mark this so we know that.
Yeah, sure. Let me know.
I was just getting a little static out of that cable.
Okay. Does that sound better? Does that sound better? Does that sound better? Does that sound better? Yeah. Much better? Great. So I skipped a part before I got back. So before I got back on the dating apps, I did hit rock bottom because I decided to make a move on a comedian, actually. I have this other bit. I'm just going to tell you guys all my bits. A lot of comedians, especially the younger ones, for some reason, love to hit on me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get my sugar where I get my bread. And it's like, I don't get bread doing comedy. Like, let's be honest. I don't get bread yet doing comedy. But no, I really had this heavy attraction for this guy, and I invited him out to a concert, and he said I would totally go if I wasn't booked tonight. And I said, oh, I'm glad you're single. And he said, full disclosure, I'm in an open relationship. So that's about as LA as it
LA
gets.
single.
You know what I mean? No, but then it's crazy too, because I hung out with this guy, and I feel so bad. Am I going to be in trouble for like putting all of my dirty laundry out there? This is juicy. I love that this is episode 1 of Healthy Gossip. I have to talk about this. It's for my well-being. Anyways, yeah, had me on his podcast, and while he proceeded to sing songs, I'm pretty sure he dropped the line, maybe I'm just trying to make you fall in love with me. And I think it worked, because I definitely felt some type of way about him, right? And then moving forward, we hung out again, and we ended up like having a first kiss, and it was pretty juicy. That's all I'm gonna say. But then a couple days later after that, I never hooked up with him, and I said, hey, I go, do I text you too much? And he goes, no, but I am in that relationship. And I'm like, bro.
He's like, no, so keep texting me, but just
keep texting me, keep falling in love, but there's somebody, you know. And I'm like, okay. And so I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna text you, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not. That reminds me of another story I have to tell. Writing that name down. Hope you guys don't zoom in and see the names on here. But and it actually happened recently. I posted a comedian on my Instagram, and he responds, I love that guy. And I said, I wish you loved me. Skull face emoji, laughing emoji, heart emoji. He goes, saggy, sad face, timing. I'm like, this is what I have to say to that. Just, you know. And I'm really excited about hitting that point. Is I want, one of the discoveries I want to have on this podcast is what that thing is that we're truly looking for and why. I would love to say it's just love. We all want love, right? Love. But I feel, especially because of my past relationships, clearly there was something else I was in it for, because it wasn't a heavy, passionate love. My explanation for my excuse is, I always say I have mommy issues, is my mom kind of raised me in a way where it's like, sorry, Mom. I don't think she'll watch this, but if she does, my mom was kind of always like, yeah, you know, attractive guys are probably going to hurt your feelings, you know, and which is not really a lie, you know. Attractive people have more options, if you will, especially attractive, talented people. And I never really cared too much about looks. Like, although I look at certain people and feel this like physical feeling for them, I was like, that might be a bad sign. And another topic I'll eventually talk about is I'm really into the whole LA new age, like crystals and meditation, etc. That'll be a whole other topic. I might even do that one alone, solo again. Maybe you and I will venture down that, Alex, and that path.
educate me on the crystals.
Well, just really quick, what I want to mention is, if you guys have heard of the chakras at all, it's this concept that you have to connect all of them. So like your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your sacral chakra, and your root chakra, etc. And if one of them isn't matching, which your sacral chakra is your sex chakra, then it's just especially not going to work. So the one, and then also it's kind of like a plant. Like you want to connect from the ground up, and the ground one is the root, and then into the sacral, which, I'm sorry, this is like a lot. But the point is sexual chemistry is so important, you know. So I was kind of like, I'd hang out with people and I would know that there was no sexual attraction there.
Isn't it the worst when you meet someone that's viable? It's like a good, like, oh, she's great, I like her family, and then, or for me, her, but or for you, him, and then like when that situation happens, you just don't have that physical chemistry, and you're like, God, I thought you were the one.
And I have a bit about that too, where it's saying like that's the reason why girls need to give it up fast. Is
Gotta know.
I was in a relationship. God bless him for putting up with me as long as he did. I always think I have bad karma sometimes because of what I did to that poor man.
Was this your most recent? Or,
no, this is a couple of boyfriends ago, and we waited so long. Like, God, I'm not even going to tell you what my idea of so long is, but it was so long.
Another LA standards.
Well, I will tell you, it was over a month.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a long time.
Right,
yeah.
right. Especially when you like have spent days together. And
nowadays you text so often, you're so involved with that person 24 hours a day that to go a month is actually...
I had a 3-hour conversation with a guy a couple of nights ago who I've never met.
On the phone?
On the phone.
It's awful.
And I'm pretty sure I told him, like, I'm going to sleep with you when I see you. Like, I'm not going to play these games. Like, if you try, probably not going to stop you. Sorry if I killed the chase or whatever, but, like, again, it's so hard to even have
Yeah.
a short conversation.
If you're
with
being
some
honest with
people.
yourself, you want to know. So, yeah.
And that's happened too, where I've looked at a guy and I'm like, wow, you are gorgeous. And then we kiss and it's like, like, what was that? That was terrible. And yeah, I mean, noises people make and sounds and grunts and phrases, it all adds up to a great chemistry experiment. So where was I about that guy? Yeah, it was. I guess we can go back to that kid who told me timing.
You were talking about just like getting involved quickly, and there was a guy you let him know pretty early on. You let him know after a 3-hour phone conversation.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a whole little topic I wanted to talk about that kid, but I mean I wanted to finish up on the comic, but so sorry, ADHD. We all have it, right? Just to wrap up on that, that is what triggered me to download the dating app, where I was just like, I'm trying to make something happen, like naturally, like, ooh, we do the same thing. Like, hey, maybe I need to date an artsy type, or maybe I need to. There's so much, but that's what happened. That's my heart just getting kind of like trampled on a little bit. And and then I started getting into like, we're all looking for this love thing, and it's yes, because I feel like if you meet somebody and it's like, wow, you're a great kisser, you're attractive, you're talented, I like everything about you and I want to hang out with you, and then they're just like, timing, it's like, okay, well, oh, that hurts. And that is why I think a lot of people, we talk about mental health, a lot of our mental health is triggered from heartbreak, like, oh, we don't want to ever feel like that ever again, and it's so true. What else? And then another thing that happened to me is the last guy that I'm thoroughly convinced that I was in love with, that's a long story, but I will say I fell in love with him 5 years ago, and I still feel some type of way about him. And he decided I'm pretty sure he was drunk or high on something. I have him blocked on Instagram and my cell phone, and I wake up to 3 missed calls and a bunch of text messages from a new number, and it's him telling me how strong I am, how he loves me, and I'm so solid, and maybe we should try this. And it's like, okay, he's high. This is juicy. So of course he's like, call me or block me forever. Of course I call, because I'm a sucker. I'm a comedian. Of course I'm going to call. I'm going to call you. If you call me from a new number, it's like, oh, that's exactly, honestly, if we're really in love with you, that's what we want you to do. We want to block you, and we still want you to find some creepy way to, like, get in touch with us. My ex, I literally have 10 emails from my Orange County ex. I might as well just start saying their names. That's how obvious this is. My Orange County ex. And all of his emails back to back are like, okay, unblock me now. Unblock me now. Because he is the type of toxic person where, like, I can talk to him for about 20 minutes at a time, but after, like, 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm done with your energy. It's on me. Now I'm going to block you again because I don't want to talk to you for, like, 2 months. So God bless. You have something to say to that, Alex?
I don't. I'm not a big social media person, so I feel like I'm always out of that loop.
Yeah.
Perpetual, and I don't know. I usually, when I have a breakup, it's usually bad enough that they're not gonna reach out to me on social media. Yeah, they're not gonna reach out anyway. It's just yeah. Or that's been the case so far. Like, I'm an adult now. I've been single for a while, so now it's
How long have you been
or
single?
I'm in a relationship now, but I was single a long time before this one.
Okay.
So I feel like that probably won't happen again. But
Good. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good luck breaking up with her. Is that what?
Just, I hope we always are rooting for it to be, that real thing. And that's, so the way that ended up was, of course, like I said, I text, and not much was said, but I had to work a really long shift that day. So when I got off, I was going to end up driving back to LA after work. And I said, hey, can I call you? I'm going to hit the road in about 20 minutes. And he goes, sure. Because I want to talk about the madness that happened. And like literally 15 minutes later, he goes, I'm about to start a movie. Can we talk tomorrow? Bruh. Like, no. You love me and let's work on this. And you can't wait 20 minutes to have a conversation. I mean, get out of here. Can you show me time every, like, I don't know, once in a
Yeah.
while? What are we at?
We are currently at 25 minutes.
Okay, cool. So that's that. And then now here comes the dating apps, right? Because I'm like, dude, comedian guy didn't work out. The ex is finally like, I have to blacklist this kid. Like, get away from me, bro. Get away from me. Get away from me. Like, what are you
That's another
doing?
thing. Once you've been called bro, she's probably done. Once she calls you bro.
That's not necessarily true. I'm definitely a bro, and I will say I'm very much a tomboy, which I think actually makes guys want to like me. Like guys want me to be the one initially because of that reason. Because I've had several guys say they want a girl who feels like a friend, which everyone says that they want to marry their best friend or be with their partner, have them as their best friend forever, and then the person that their best friend that they also want to sleep with, and he that's actually so. I don't know if I made the point, but I was talking to a gentleman, and oh yes, the gentleman who told me that last says, "Yeah, you're like, yeah, I just wanted to be like, almost like a guy, someone just wants to hang out." And I get it. My ex told me that too. He's like, "I love that you just know how to entertain yourself." Come on, girls, we need to get it together. Learn how to entertain yourselves. And so. That sounded really narcissistic listening back to myself. I can hear myself saying that in the head. But which is good and bad because I'm going to go on one more tangent. Somebody said that as well. They're like, Krystle, you could be with anyone you want to be. And I'm like, really? Really? You honestly think that? And I'm alone. So you think I could be with anybody and you think I choose to be alone? No. But I'm working on me to make myself better to give to the next person that I'm going to be with. Which is relevant because that little tangent goes off to the guy who said, be like a bro, and that's like what I want. And I think I called him bro. I might have been a little tipsy. And then he called me bro, and I got mad.
Oh.
I was like, don't call me bro. Like, when did I go from babe to bro? And apparently I pissed him off over something. So anyways. It's not, though, and the point is, it's not always over when she calls you bro, because I definitely still like the bruh guy. I say bro, he says bruh.
Oh, all right. I feel like anytime a girl's called me bro, it's just that's all right, bro, whatever. Babe is done, pleases are over, there's no, it's just all right, bro, get out of here.
Yeah, it's not a total lie. It's not.
I had my best friend growing up. My best friend, she lives in New York. It's a woman, and she is a savage in relationships. And she's actually extremely loyal for about 5 years, and then you piss her off, and that's when she goes to just complete bro phase. It's just all right, bro, get out of here, and blocking everything. And it's. I don't know. Do you feel when you're done with someone, do you get cold, or do you?
I am definitely a hot and cold person. I will fall in love with you on the first date and then block you 3 hours later.
Once you get cold, do you heat back up? Can you move throughout the spectrum?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. I think I can. Of course, I have been in a relationship where we've split and then we tried dating again. So I think that's kind of.
Would you do that again? Would you get back with someone again, do you think?
Only if I was absolutely in love with them. That's the reason why I replied to the guy who called me from a different number, because to me, if you see them text you and your heart just does that weird little something. That's something.
Yeah.
You know. But full disclosure, like I have that thing about multiple people right now. You know, because
Yeah.
I felt that way about the comic, and when he, responded to my Instagram the other day, I did give it. I was like, oh. And I get sad if he doesn't like my pictures. Like my pictures. I look to see if you like my pictures. Like them. Thank you. And
Also, if you're a dude listening to this, every girl looks to see if you like their pictures.
If she likes you.
If she likes you, if you're even remotely texting someone, just go like them all. Just anything new comes out, like it, because it'll get brought up.
yeah, well, yeah, if we have that type of a relationship, for sure. And so the dating apps, man, they're, I don't know. It's a weird situation. So I'm going to hang out with someone on Thursday, the 3-hour conversation man, and it's like there's always a couple of things that are blockages. I can't wait to get to the next topic. Sorry.
She's got to write things down. She's got content in mind.
Sorry. The thing is, I used to talk about my Orange County ex like this because we kind of had that cool. It was almost like we were married basically. I'm not divorced, but it was like a marriage style relationship. We lived together, we worked out together, we had our meals together,
Grocery shopping together.
everything.
Yeah.
We were. I told him that too. I was like,
You're partners.
We're partners without the paper. You know. Everything was separate, like bank accounts and everything, but we're together. Let's just call it what it is. That's the great thing about not getting married is when you want to leave, you just pick up your shit and walk out. So sometimes you gotta trap her. Because I would probably, if we got married, I would probably still be in that, like trying to see if it would work. But God bless him for not proposing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And yeah, so the guy, the 3-hour guy, kind of has a normal job, normal routine, and he's an Orange County guy. Yeah, which is, cursing is okay, right? I can totally curse.
Yeah, it's your show.
Okay, great.
Fuck yeah.
Good, thank you. Fuck yeah. Shout out to Evan Cassidy.
Fuck yeah, nation.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Naish, my dirty dogs. But I told him, I was like, he's definitely a fuck boy because he has that look, like, it's just the look. Fuck boy, it's a fuck boy look.
You can tell.
Right, and, but
You can tell a fuck girl when you see her, too. There is a look. Yeah.
Do I have that look?
No.
Okay. I'm a sneaky one. I can definitely be one, but, moving forward, back to the fuck boy. But, like, unfortunately, I'm gonna air out his dirty laundry right now. When I first started talking to him, he said something highly offensive. I'm not gonna say exactly what he said, but literally.
Was this the 3-hour guy?
3-hour guy.
Okay.
We're on the 3-hour guy right now. In the first 5 minutes, I was like, I don't know if I should just hang up on him and block him because it was that offensive. And it wasn't to me, it was just a general statement. You can kind of put it together. But then he sounds, this is even going to help you put it together even more, like a very typical Midwestern, like, redneck guy.
Maybe something racist? Did he say something racist? Is that what got you?
No comment.
All right.
And I don't, because of what if I end up with this guy? I don't want you guys to know. But then all of a sudden, this redneck tells me about how he was
This redneck
was studying abroad, and I don't know, where was he, like Madrid? And I go, hablo español. He goes, the H is silent. And I was like, hablo español? And he's like, oh, much better. And then this redneck starts speaking the most elegant, sophisticated, beautiful Spanish I've ever heard. And that has always been a turn on to me when someone sounds like they are like, are you educated? Are you smart? And then all of a sudden something you're like, oh, they're borderline genius. The guy's definitely a genius. Like, he's one of those weird, which, another red flag too, because my ex the Orange County ex was definitely like that. I was like, God, he's so smart and he's so good looking, but I just don't like him.
Not all geniuses are manipulative, but all manipulative people are geniuses. That's how I feel. So
that's profound.
if you're playing that like 8 moves ahead style chess game with someone, they're probably, or if they're playing that with you, they're probably a genius. So
Okay. Oh man, and this guy is good. I did a radio show for my for Budman, and we were already about an hour deep into the combo, and then he gets on the website and he goes, "Is that you in the video?" And I was like, "Yes." He watches it with no sound for 20 seconds and goes, "I have you so figured out." And he says 3 things about me, and I was a little creeped out.
What do you go to school for? What do you
He
study?
has an MBA.
Is
And he's in sales.
Is it? Oh yeah, so
he's good.
master manipulator.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A good salesman.
He even said that he. I'm just gonna put. Yeah, I'm gonna. Put
That's
it out
like
there.
that sales is
Orange
like
County X is sales too.
yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
Go ahead. You were saying.
No,
sales?
it's just it's people who are good at sales, people who can make you who can sell you without you feeling like you're being sold. That's genius stuff. He might be a genius.
And he said, what did he say to me?
What were the 3 things that he figured out?
That I know a couple of them. Something about I'm much more sneaky than he thought, which is true. Full disclosure. Something about like basically hiding my sexuality, which is why I asked you if you think I look like a fuck girl. And yeah, just basically mentioning like, oh, and then something about my confidence. He's like, oh, and you're a little bit more confident than I gave you credit for, which is true because I'm extremely confident, but I'm also painfully insecure. So it was just interesting. I was like, wow. And, obviously he said more. He was so good. I took notes during our conversation. I think I even have the notes here. I was like, you're saying some really good stuff. Like he said, does she ever life together? No, thanks. Are you free on Friday? He canceled a date. He canceled a date for our first date. So we'll see how that goes. And he called his bedroom the healing room.
Whoa.
That was deep. And we also talked about, this was smooth too. I'm writing a bit about this. I asked him straight up, I was like, do you have a big dick? And he says, it's pretty.
Ha! That's my line. Yes. Works.
You relate. Good.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
And I'm definitely trying to figure something out there because it's like, what does pretty even mean?
So I'll tell you what it means. It means
Please.
in this day and age, you can't have any confidence in your genitalia as a man without being either called a liar or an asshole, or you. If it's not even saying he can use it well. If a guy's got a nice piece, he can't talk about it. So pretty is something you typically a man like doesn't want to be described as, right? So it's a self-deprecating way of saying, yeah, I gotta. Maybe it might be average in size, but maybe it's got a good cut to it. Who knows? But
Okay.
there's this weird thing with men where we have to be self-deprecating about our penises. So like
Okay.
if you say you have a nice one, you're either called a liar or an asshole. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, like I said, I do.
So he's
have,
probably doing. If he's this confident too, I'm feeling this big dick energy. It's probably all right. It's probably.
I have it on my agenda to sleep with him, so in the next episode you'll find out if he's bullshit or not. And
So he calls his. I was gonna say this too. He's apparently pretty confident in himself in the bedroom because he calls his bedroom the healing room.
oh yeah, 100%. Which is funny because I even said that I was like, you're so. It was the in and out. It's like, wow, and the picture's so attractive. And then he starts talking. I'm like, oh, no, not another one. But then he drops these nuggets that if my ex, the Orange County ex, would have been a little more affectionate and emotional and giving in the physical aspect of our relationship, I probably would have stayed longer as well. But he was so cold. Like, even just, we watched so much TV, but not like cuddling on the couch or just like little like kissies here and there and stuff. I'm all about that little like rub my shoulders or something, like touch me. I'm a goddess. And This is how our sex was going. Sometimes it would be like, I think it literally would be like that. Want to have sex, just like wanna fuck, or like just so like transactional. Like I said, want to go to the bedroom.
How long were you guys together?
That's embarrassing. Like 2.5 years.
Was it like that at the beginning too?
No. Oh, he was another one where we didn't hook up very fast.
Okay.
We didn't hook up very fast. And it's funny because we had a horrible first kiss, and it was my fault because I definitely ate some food I probably shouldn't have. And he's the most honest person I've ever met in my life.
Everyone wants that until they get it, right?
And he's painfully honest, which is one of his best qualities, though, because he's so honest, yet, but the truth physically hurts. It really does. It hurts. So, the bad first kiss, didn't hook up. And then his personality is so strange that I didn't even realize he was trying to date me the first few times that we hung out. He had just gotten out of a relationship, and I was like, well, I don't think this guy's trying to date me. And then when he made a move, again, it was kind of like awkward. But again, I was really physically attracted to him. But it was a relationship. I was young, and I'm not that much younger, but I was pretty young. I think that ended in 2017. So it was a great lesson. God bless you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for the lessons, and thanks for your honesty. Glad to be free. Glad to have my freedom back.
So back to real quick, favorite and least favorite dating apps. Go.
My favorite is probably just Bumble and Hinge, and then least is Tinder.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Any others, or is it just the three?
Those are the
Have you
only
gotten
ones.
into the Secret Society of Entertainment online dating yet? Do you know
No.
about it?
Raya?
Araya, I think it's called.
yeah. No, they didn't accept me.
If you're
I
not,
tried.
oh, you tried?
Oh, I tried.
haven't even
I
tried.
got to
don't
know.
I already know I don't have enough followers. If
Well,
you're
no,
not from LA,
I have a friend who has less than 1,000 followers, and she's on it.
Oh.
That's why I thought maybe.
does she do like makeup or something, or
No.
what? Is she an actress?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've heard it, like I've seen or I've heard. I mean, that like people support industry for this, or people who support industry can kind of get into. I believe, like if you work in makeup or hair production, like in some form of a level. But if you're not from LA, Araya is it's an entertainment industry based.
Raya.
Is it Raya?
Uh-huh. Yep.
It's a entertainment industry based dating app. So yeah.
3 Hour Man just text.
3 Hour Man. All right.
Oh yeah, and also.
Hopefully you'll be calling him that on Thursday.
Hey, yes.
The 3 Hour Man.
He's the 3 Hour Man.
All right, so I've never used Bumble or Hinge, but I've met two girls. I've only gone on 2 Tinder dates, and both of them turned into something.
Oh.
Why Bumble? Why Hinge?
They all pretty much turned into something too. I have
Yeah.
another long story that I could probably do a whole podcast episode about when I feel like I fell in love with 2 guys in the same week, and I was terrified and I didn't know what to do, so I bailed on both of them. I like literally one of them I slept with, and it was delicious.
Bumble, Hinge,
That
Tinder?
was all Bumble.
All Bumble. All right.
Yeah, and there was a third one in the picture, but he had kids, and but he was beautiful and so successful, and literally men tell him how good looking he is. He said, but it just didn't work out. I really want that special thing, that mutual obsession. And I was going to touch on
A mutual obsession. That's interesting. So go ahead.
mutual
Talk about that a lot.
obsession.
A mutual obsession.
Right. Well, because I feel that everyone understands that there's the initial infatuation stage, but the drug addict boyfriend that had the phone number who he texted me from, it's been 5 years and I still have that, and that is, I mean, I'm not saying it's an obsession, but it is definitely, I know it's not great for me. I had a line I wanted to say about that. It's like, oh yeah, it's like they can literally say anything to you. Like the guy can be like, yeah. Like I have this rule where I don't ever want to date a bisexual guy. Like no offense, it's just not my thing. If you tell me that, but like if it's the person.
Do you like
that
very
you're-
masculine men?
No, actually.
No? Okay.
Not. I've tried it, and I don't like bros. I don't like like
sick, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you have to definitely have like be okay with wearing a face mask if you want, and like be okay with like having a cheat meal, etc. And I was gonna mention about dating younger guys too. I tried that. Shout out to one of my sweeties. But I know it's like
One of your students,
one of
like
my
what?
one of my sweeties.
One of my pupils.
Well, I really this guy. I think he's awesome, but I think it's the age thing where he's just like he's so young and he feels young, like a young energy. Where I don't like.
It's attractive. The energy, is it attractive?
It's I could see why some girls would be crazy about this boy, but for me, I think he's so hot, but there's this blockage, and that's I need to talk about this. I have to talk about this before the episode ends because this is one of my topics I actually wrote down. I call it having the juice. So you have the juice. I ran into this guy literally last night, and
This guy, the sweetie?
no, another guy.
Okay.
This is a
different guy.
random guy that him and I were in scene study class together, and apparently he's killing it. He's like, yeah, I just produced 3 movies and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I would love to take you out. And in my brain, I'm like, never. Like, there's something just off, and he ain't got the juice. There's no just, you ain't got the juice like that. It's that love juice. It's the love. It's the could I love you and be with you. If we were on an island together, would I be like, oh my God, we have each other? We talked about that last night too. Ariana Grande said it beautifully in one of her speeches that she's like, I know it looks like I'm killing the game right now because I am, but this is also the worst year of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because she obviously lost Matt Miller, and then her and Pete broke up, etc. And on the flip side, you could have some tribe in Uganda where there's just like these 2 people who are just madly in love, and they're living in whatever situation they're living in, but they have each other. So it's like they have that part, and
I think people in situations like tribes in Uganda actually, I think community, I think when you're facing more of a security issue, whether it be a financial security, whether or not you're going to eat later, who knows how big of a tribe we're talking, maybe a village, maybe it's people who eat regular. I feel like there's more of a sense of community because together we meet all of our needs. You can help me meet needs of mine. I can help. When you're in LA, every need you have can be met on your cell phone. You want to be told you're pretty, you go on an app. You're hungry, Uber Eats. You need work, you can drive Lyft. Like anything you ever need, you can get just from the thing in your pocket. All of your needs. Yeah. So there's not that sense of community. So how do you find that sense of community here? How do you find what you need? And I feel like that's where you're going, but those tribes in Uganda, they have different, different focuses than Ariana Grande, but we all just want to belong to something,
Or someone.
Yeah.
And that's that mutual obsession that you like pointed out that I pointed out. And Chris Rock has a bit about that where he says, my parents lasted because they were able to miss each other because they didn't have the cell phones in their pocket.
Yeah.
And I thought it's so true, or another comedian talked about like how you had to used to court somebody back in the day. And it's so true. Now it's like, again, let me go on a date. Oh my God, I think I fell in love with you. Oh my God, date number 2, I slept with you. Oh my God. Oh, you didn't call me back. I didn't like that. I'm going to go fall in love with somebody else tomorrow. And it's literally can happen that faster,
Do you think Ariana Grande, I definitely think she was obsessed with Mac Miller. I feel like he was a very obsessed, like he's in, as far as like the power of influence goes, I'm obsessed with Mac Miller. I thought he was great. Do you think she felt that way about Pete Holmes, or not Pete Holmes? What is his name?
Wentz something.
No. What's the Ariana Grande?
Yeah, Pete.
What's his last name?
W.
No, Wentz is a Fallout Boy.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I know. We can Google it.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live star. But do you feel like she was infatuated?
Davidson.
Davidson. Yeah. Do you think she had that obsession with him? That kind of, I work at the Improv. They were always making out in the hall and stuff, and then next thing you know, they're just not together.
I'm writing that down. I want to dissect for next episode celebrity like chemistry and relationships, because It could have been. It could have been one of those situations. The guy who I said I loved 5 years ago, his and I's was a and my relationship was a whirlwind thing. It literally just kind of, it went, we could talk about this too another episode, but really, really hot, really fast. And something happened. I'm not going to say what this episode, but something happened. Tune in to find out. Where we just kind of went apart really fast, and we knew that there was something there. But I guess because him and I were maybe scared of how much we were just into each other, we kind of both jumped into other relationships. And that's actually when I started dating Orange County guy. And maybe because it was so safe, where I'm like, if this guy breaks up with me, it'll be sad, but I'm not going to be like nearly as devastated. Sorry. But yeah, it was just like one of those situations like that. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, you're right. From what they look like in videos and just, God, I look like they were really obsessed with each other.
I feel like there is that obsession, but then once you get behind the curtain on someone, is there still once you know all the magician's tricks, is there still obsession there? You know, is there, and you know, I mean, when you talk about mutual obsession, that's a great way of putting it. But have you ever been in a relationship where you were obsessed, and then you see what's behind, you see backstage, and you're like, oh, it's all smoke and mirrors, you know?
That's the 5 years ago.
Oh,
guy.
that's the 5 years ago.
Definitely, because I keep thinking that there's something really cool there, which maybe it's just sexual chemistry, but then we really haven't spent that much time together. Where I'm like, you know, we probably don't like watching the same things. We don't.
We wouldn't hang out outside of the sex. Is that what you're saying? Like, you didn't.
No, we would. Him and I were like, we were into the same like healthy lifestyle. We definitely had a lot. He was into the whole crystals thing, and you know, kind of. We were really big hippies together, and so there was definitely, we were a cool couple for what it was while it lasted. But then I think emotionally, like, I think some guys too just really have commitment issues, which is fine. Like the comedian, you know, open relationship, whatever. But I think his is more of like he doesn't want to get his heart broken type of situation. Anyways, you know, and that's what this podcast is all about. Yes, healthy gossip, figuring it out. I want to slowly try my hardest to understand what is going on, because I don't have all the answers, and I want to talk about it. So yeah, he was the last mutual obsession. That's another, I think part of the reason, like something that happened to me that really is kind of molded me into who I am is the guy that I lost my virginity to actually passed away.
Oh.
At a very young age, my first love. And that definitely changed my character.
Yeah.
For sure. Like,
one of my best friends back in Vegas, he lost, they'd couple years in, they were like a week apart, still trying to figure it out. She died in a car accident, and it will completely change every person you're ever with. You'll make you think differently about every person you've been with. It's a big thing. So, so that's a whole episode right there too.
It is, absolutely.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah. What's the time?
We are at 53 minutes. Yeah.
Just fly by.
Just flies by.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm like
No
so
problem.
happy that it was just so easy and just conversational. And I believe I touched on most. We literally talked about every single thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about sex. I want to talk about relationships, being single, being in relationships, and how a lot of like how to be alone successfully, and to just, you know, how to improve yourself, a little bit of comedy here and there, and like stories about how people like came about, like mental health, basically. Like that obviously affected my mental health big time. And yeah.
Emotional health.
Yeah, heart health. Pun intended.
Yeah, I feel you.
Right. So, and let me look at my agenda here. And because you're right, there's so many stories within stories, and it is therapy. And I feel that so many people just need to talk about it. Like, why? Like, where does that pain come from? Like, as an actor from the Aaron Spicer Acting Studio. That's one of the coolest lessons he ever taught me as an actress is he'd always ask every single person in the scene, what's your pain? And I have goosebumps just saying that because what is your pain and what is your objective? And that truly in life is what makes you tick. And that's the healthy gossip, like let's get it out. And and then of course the other part about the podcast is I definitely want to get into more celebrity stuff.
Oh yeah.
And
it's what the gossip's all about, yeah.
right, but in a healthy way. Like I don't want to like bag on like anybody and just is it bag or rag? Bag.
Either.
Bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bagging on them.
I don't want to bag on people, and it's, apologies in advance for people who date me because they're definitely it's gonna be kind of obvious who I'm talking about, and it's not hard to find out if you guys are curious. And I think let me make one little last gander here. Alex, like seriously, thank you. I love that
No
you're
problem.
here, and this is amazing. And I didn't have to keep repeating myself. And you were like so with me, and you're listening because when I lost my train of thought on Krystle Chats, I do a lot of episodes by myself, and I listen back and I'm like, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. And listening to it, I knew what I was gonna say. And now you're here to save me.
I'm that way on stage, so I feel you.
I know. Oh, when you're at a mic,
I should have said this.
I should have, and then I meant to work on this bit. And that's a plug. I'm actually headlining my first show in Palm Springs. It's so far out. It's in October. But
Well, perfect, because when this drops, people have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Palm Springs, come out and see Krystle.
but it's gonna be like a bunch of older people.
Oh, those are the funnest.
And I have to start working a lot of clean material.
Have you ever done Beaumont? That little
No.
town out there? This
No.
guy Johnny books this cool show out in Beaumont, and it's a similar crowd to that. For me, being from Vegas, that's my bread and butter, man. Just desert trash. That's who I love.
Yeah, I just did. I did Victorville and then Lancaster.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are so fun.
Those are fun.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. And so that's it, guys. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I hope you
How can they find you?
kind of know who I am. So I am Krystle Chats, and it's Krystle. It's actually spelt wrong on Peter's episode.
Oh.
I didn't tell him. Krystle Chats, Chats, like chit chat. KrystleChats.com, Krystle Chats on Instagram, Krystle Chats on Twitter. I'm Krystle Chats. I'm so happy that you guys, if you got this far into my first episode and/or 23rd episode of the Healthy Gossip Podcast, thanks for listening.